The Book of Apocalypse has always intrigued scholars and Christians throughout history, but few chapters arouse as much curiosity as Revelation 12. In him, John presents us with a powerful vision: a woman dressed in sunshine, a red dragon, and a boy who is about to be born. But who are these figures? What does this prophecy reveal about the end of time? And more importantly, what does this mean to your life today? If you've already wondered about the mysteries of Revelation and how they connect to our current world, you are in the right place. Let's explore together the depths of this revelation and understand how this biblical passage fits God's great plan for humanity. Get ready for surprising answers. Before we dive into this study, take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and leave your comment. This helps us to bring this message to more people and strengthens this community of faith. Now, let's unravel this mystery. John's vision in Revelation 12 is one of the most intriguing in the entire Bible. It contemplates grand signs in the sky, revealing cosmic events that transcend time and space. This revelation given by Jesus is not just a symbolic narrative, but key to understanding the mysteries of the end times. What John saw has deep implications for the church and the fate of humanity. At the center of this view is a woman dressed in sunshine, a heavenly figure who arouses numerous interpretations. Its meaning goes beyond appearance, pointing to spiritual truths about redemption and the struggle between good and evil. This image carries echoes of ancient prophecies and invites us to reflect on the role of faith in these last days. John was not simply reporting a meaningless dream, but receiving a glimpse of the divine plan in action. Revelation is not a horror book, but a hope manual for the faithful. Every detail of this view has a purpose and prepares us to recognize the signs of the apocalypse around us. Are you ready to unravel the meaning of the woman dressed in sunshine? The figure of the sun-dressed woman is one of the most enigmatic symbols of Revelation. Some scholars identify it as Israel, God's chosen people. Others see the church in her. The bride of Christ. There are those who associate this view with Mary, mother of Jesus. But regardless of interpretation, one thing is clear: this woman represents a fulfillment of a divine plan that unfolds throughout the history of redemption. Interestingly, this view connects with a dream of Joseph, recorded in Genesis 37. He saw the sun, the moon, and 12 stars bowing before him, a clear reference to Israel and the 12 tribes. In Revelation 12, the woman is also surrounded by 12 stars, reinforcing this prophetic connection. This shows how God has been preparing the scenario since ancient times. What does this woman symbolize to us today? She reminds us that God is in control of history and that his church, despite the persecution, will be preserved. Dressed as sunny, she reflects the glory of God, resisting the darkness of the world. This means that no matter how difficult the way, those who remain faithful will enjoy divine protection. But the story does not end here. As a new threat arises, a red dragon ready to attack. In John's view, the appearance of the woman dressed in sunshine is immediately followed by a terrifying creature, a great red dragon. This being is not just an abstract symbol of evil, but a direct representation of Satan and his desire to destroy the divine plan. It comes with 7 heads and 10 horns, an image that refers to the power, influence, and corruption it spreads around the world. The dragon is not just watching, but ready to devour the child the woman will give birth. This scene reflects Satan's attempt to eliminate Jesus from birth, something we have seen in the persecution of Herod, who ordered the killing of the babies in Bethlehem. But just as Christ was protected at that time, this prophecy points to the continuous defeat of the enemy before God's plan. The red dragon is not just a figure of the past. Its influence manifests itself to this day, trying to divert people from faith and spread chaos in the world. However, Revelation 12 reminds us that despite his fury, he cannot win. The battle between good and evil already has a defined winner. And the next scene of this view reveals a heavenly confrontation that changed everything. In the heart of John's vision is a cosmic conflict that begins with women in labor, about to give birth to a child. This birth is not common, but it is the birth of Messiah, the one who would bring salvation to humanity. The red dragon, in his anger and fury, is ready to devour the boy as soon as he is born, representing Satan's constant attempt to destroy Jesus from the beginning. But this battle is not only historical, it also symbolizes a continuous spiritual struggle between good and evil. Since the birth of Christ, Satan has tried to interrupt the plan of salvation in many ways. Herod's persecution in Bethlehem is just an example. But Christ's victory over evil did not start with his death on the cross. She has already begun when he was born. The birth of Jesus, with his redemptive purity and mission, is the beginning of the end of the darkness of darkness. Every step of Christ on earth from birth to resurrection is a statement of war against Satan. This view reminds us that the birth of Jesus was not just a historical event. It was the beginning of a spiritual revolution that brings light to the world. And the struggle against the forces of evil has not stopped with its ascension. It continues to this day. Now, the next chapter of this cosmic battle reveals a definitive confrontation between Miguel, the archangel, and the Satan himself. Christ's victory and ours is closer than we imagine. John's vision in Revelation 12 describes an epic battle that occurs in heaven. Miguel, the archangel, leads the heavenly armies against Satan and his angels. This struggle is not just a battle between heavenly beings, but a representation of the spiritual conflict that unfolds throughout the history of humanity. Satan, who has always rose against God and against his people, is finally defeated and expelled from heaven. There is no more room for evil in the celestial spheres. The fact that Miguel is the leader of this battle shows us the strength of divine protection. The name Michael means who is like God, a statement that no one can compare to God's power and authority. Satan, in his arrogance and pride, tries to challenge his power, but is overcome. He and his followers are thrown into earth, where they continue their mission to deceive and destroy the faithful. This expulsion represents a definitive defeat of evil in heaven and an early victory for the followers of Christ. The impact of this battle these days is deep. Although evil still acts in the world, this heavenly victory gives us confidence and hope. We are not fighting an endless battle, but a war that has already been decided in heaven. Miguel and the angels are by our side, and the final victory of Christ over Satan is certain. Now let's see how this cosmic struggle directly impacts women and what that means for the church. After Miguel's victory and the expulsion of Satan, the woman, representing the church or Israel, faces a new wave of persecution. The dragon, furious for his defeat in heaven, turns his wrath to those who follow Christ. However, divine protection does not fail. The woman is guided to the desert, a symbolic place of refuge, where she will be sustained and protected by God during the time of tribulation. This is a reminder that even in times of great adversity, God always offers a path of protection to his faithful. The escape to the desert also symbolizes God's provision in times of necessity. The image of the eagle, which takes the woman to the desert, reminds us of how God sustained the Israelites during the desert journey. He is faithful, and his protection does not fail. Even though Satan attacks in every possible way, God has a rescue plan for his people. Divine presence never leaves those who trust in his word and their promises. This section of the Revelation Vision 12 offers us a powerful message of hope. Although evil tries to destroy us, divine protection is always within reach. Like the woman, all who are faithful to Christ can find security and strength in God, knowing that he has absolute control over all situations. However, the battle does not end here. Satan, though defeated, does not give up, and now his attacks turn to those who follow Christ. But the victory is already guaranteed. Revelation 12, with its vivid and dramatic images, carries a deep meaning that goes beyond heavenly battles and symbolic figures. Basically, this view is a message of hope and victory for the faithful. She reminds us that despite the tribulations and persecution we face, God's plan for humanity never fails. The woman dressed in sunshine, the birth of Messiah, and the battle against the dragon are all signs that in the end Christ will triumph over evil. For Christians, Revelation is not just a prophecy about the end of the world, but promise that in the final judgment, the victory will be of Christ and his followers. The church, represented by the woman, can be persecuted, but she will be protected and sustained by God. Persecution is not the end, but only part of the process that leads to the final victory. And by looking at Christ's victory over Satan, we are remembered that even when everything seems lost, faith and hope in Jesus assure us that the struggle has already been won. This view also calls us reflection on our position before God. Revelation challenges us to remain firm in faith, to resist evil and to trust the power of Christ to give us victory. It is not a battle that we must face alone, but with the strength of God. Revelation invites us to live with the certainty that divine protection is always with us, and that the final victory of Christ is ours as well. After exploring the powerful images and truths of Revelation 12, the question arises, what does this mean to you today? John's vision calls us a deep reflection on our spiritual walk. We are remembered that even in the midst of spiritual difficulties and battles, God offers us protection and victory. However, for this protection to be real in our lives, we must have a genuine faith in Christ. The invitation to conversion to Jesus is clear. True victory begins the moment we decided to put our trust and hope in Him. By reflecting on the woman dressed in sunny, the birth of Messiah, and the dragon's defeat, we are challenged to seek a firm faith, a confidence that allows us to face any adversity with the certainty that Christ has already conquered victory. This is the time to evaluate the state of your heart. Are you living with the security of knowing that you are protected by God, or have you been lost in the battles of life? The good news is that just as the woman was protected, God offers the same protection to all who turn to Him with sincerity and faith. If you have not yet made the decision to follow Christ, this is the moment. No matter what you have lived so far, the conversion to Jesus brings true peace and security. Revelation reminds us that the end of time is near, and the real victory is one of those who choose to be with Christ. Leave a comment and share your reflections. Accept Jesus and experience the transformation in your life. We have reached the end of this journey through the mystery of Revelation 12, but reflection needs to continue. You now have a powerful message of hope, faith, and divine protection in hand. The struggle between good and evil already has a winner, and this winner is Christ. The woman dressed in sunshine, the birth of Messiah, the battle in heaven, and the defeat of Satan are not just ancient events, but spiritual realities that impact our lives every day. Now, the big question is, what will you do with this revelation? Are you ready to live with the certainty that through Jesus, the victory has already been won to you? The transformation that Christ offers is for everyone who turns to Him, and Revelation invites us to be prepared for Him. Think about what you can change in your life today, in areas where you need divine protection and a commitment to follow Christ with renewed faith. If you felt your heart the call to get closer to God and make the decision to live to Christ, subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and leave your comment. Let us continue this walk of faith and hope. May the peace and victory of Christ be with you in every step.